Hi there everybody, my name is Kate and welcome to my channel, Trenergy Awakens Naturally. Please excuse me, I'm running laundry. I'm just now hearing the clanking of my jeans in the dryer and probably just making noise there in your ear. So this is real sudden, impromptu, and weird, so why not share the joy of weird, right? So we just passed yesterday the Lionsgate 8/8 of 2024, and it's a real ass kicker. I mean, it's been a real ass kicker. But I was just trying to process some things that happened today along with this whole week. We're also in a Mercury retrograde. We've had solar flares of some impressive intensity over the last couple of days. We're meeting maximum in every place that we look, you know. And so coming from the 5D perspective, while I'm living right here, slam on 3D Earth, man, I gotta make a motion to let's discuss this immediately because it's popping out of my brain sideways. So give you some context that last weekend, a week ago or so, I went hiking with my dog up in Turquoise Lake, and on the way home in Colorado Springs. So dog's going nuts trying to play around with the cat, but he's 111. Baby, you're too big for that. He does not normally mess with the cats anymore. That's not his thing. But hey, we're making a video, so let's make sure we show our whole ass, you know. But anyway, it's up in elevation, and I already had some freak out moments of, yeah, I can't drive this, I gotta go home. And I was pretty spent with, I thought I was gonna go home a certain way, and I just couldn't, because I couldn't make it up the mountain to get to the next interstate. So I turned around, and I was already feeling, you know, kind of defeated and strange about myself. And like, okay, this is bizarre. Whatever, 144, thank you. Yep. And so I turned around and started going back the way that I knew, and it started backing up, you know, come to a grinding halt, and oh no, you know, this doesn't look good. And so go, and the road's closed. Just, okay, I couldn't see anything. It was just closed at that intersection, you know, main road and offshoot, and go that way. And so no big deal. I go up the road that, you know, the path, the detour, I go up that road, and it comes to a grinding halt within 10 minutes. And I thought, what the hell, you know, I've only got 70 miles left on my gas tank. I don't have time to be messing around with this, you know, because Kate didn't plan well. You know, her days of being OCD, those are apparently over. So I came up out of those mountains and not really prepared to be stopping, you know, short. I still had, you know, 90 miles to go or something by the time I was burning up all this gas just sitting there, you know, inching along. And I thought, all right, I got to make a move here. And so I start praying. I'm like, all right, I turn around, and eventually a whole bunch of us, we went off-road, you know, took our all-wheel drive, turned to ATV all of a sudden, and we're just migrating across, and finally get across, you know, to where further down the road, and I get gas, you know, etc., and I feel better. But then I have this overwhelming sense as I get close to this one side where the road was closed down. Both sides have, you know, they're several miles apart. You know, this is a V section here, or V looking thing here on the map. One side, you know, is closed, the other side's closed, and I come and we get back on the road down here where they're allowing people on the road, and I had this overwhelming sense of, oh my God, you know, no, just absolute, you know, horror, like, oh, the weight of the whole entire world just dropped down on me. And I kept feeling like all these different tones of that, like overtones of just enormous guilt or enormous, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. And then grieving and all this. And I thought, oh, you know, this is bizarre. You know, this isn't usually how I channel information or how I get information. That's not how that usually happens. But, you know, is this related to people in that accident? You know, and I kind of flaked out. I'm like, it's been a very bizarre weekend. We've had a lot of fun, but we've had these transcendent, beautiful, gorgeous 5D-esque experiences with boulders and trees and lakes and all kinds of little fey critters and creatures and all kinds of stuff in the 5D that's so magical and fun. And then we pop back down here to, excuse me, well, what the hell is this? You know, I can't even get up the mountain. I'm suddenly freaking out, hyperventilating, and I got to turn around and go home and, you know, hanging my head somewhat in that, not exactly shame, but real freaking close. And then I'm going to get grinding to a halt with, you know, these accidents, things happening on two separate roads. I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing here? What am I learning here? What is this? And I was just over it. Like, I don't care to be a spiritual person. I don't care to be on any effing journey. My journey is to go the F home. I want to go home. I don't want to be doing this. I don't want to be a part of this. You know, if you put me here on earth and I'm walking turf, then just let me be stupid for a minute. Get my gas, 444, and then let me not care. I don't care what's going on. And I was battling myself because I just could not pass up these ideas, but I feel this heaviness in my heart of, oh, somebody's grieving something, something terrible's happened over there. I don't know what that mess is over there. It's not as bad, but that feels terrible. That there's a lot of guilt, there's a lot of shame, there's a lot of something, and people are already mourning, like right now. I'm like, that doesn't feel good. And I was tickling around with the idea in my mind of, yeah, I'm probably just making that shit up, you know. I wish I was, because it really was that bad. There was a fatality on the road, without getting into all the gore of it. There was a fatality that I found out the next day. Of a motorcyclist with a semi-truck, and I can't believe there'd be anybody that would feel really, you know, good about a fatality of any kind, but especially, I mean, that's got to be just enormously horrible. The other side didn't feel so bad, but it was awful as well, was that somebody's camper caught on fire, you know, so loss of all kinds of things in this experience, and I'm thinking, you know, I don't want to be a part of this, I don't like this, and yet what kept coming back to me is, but you are here, and this is what's happening, 555, and being part of the change, being alive right now means that you have to bring higher mind to this. You cannot just shut it out. You can't just, you know, I don't want to. We can definitely put parameters on the I don't care to deal with this right now, you know, those kinds of things, and yet I really wasn't in that place that I was able to do that. What I was really being pushed to do and asked to do and did ultimately succumb to doing was stand in the presence of this to help alleviate that horror and that, you know, oh my God, to help people. What ultimately came out of my mouth in the prayer as I was making my way to the gas station, that the prayer was, please bring right order to this. Whatever is happening, allow there to be clarity in this moment, allow there to be discernment in this moment, that every single person in this knows exactly what they need to do to bring the highest results and the highest timeline possible through whatever that is. And at the time I had no idea, other than that crushing feeling of my logical mind was going, yep, fatality, because I have an EMS background, and just looking at the way the road was plugged up, you know, but my heart just felt such a heaviness with that of, oh my goodness, no, that I can feel that. And so how can you heal that? How can you do your part, Kate? How can you be a good citizen as you're continuing to drive by, because you're not getting out of your car, you're not part of an ambulance crew, you're not part of the fire department, you're not part of any of that process in EMS anymore, so you're not helping in that way. How do you energetically help as you know, cruise by this? What can you do to offer this, rather than continue to, you know, be upset or to deny it or pretend like it isn't happening? People are suffering everywhere. What can you do? Can you pull out of your own space? Can you pull out of your own face and say, you know, what may I offer this situation? It might actually make you feel better. Let's try that and see. And when I started saying those affirmations of, please, you know, I'm bringing in the Holy Presence and asking that you please cover this area with as much, you know, universal intelligence as you can, to bring people to their right mind, to bring people clarity and understanding, healing and compassion, kindness, understanding, for whatever is happening, for there to be right order, the highest timeline to be brought in on this, whatever it is, because I'm not part of what all those souls are doing there. I wasn't given any of that information, 808, other than this just feels very terrible. It feels very much like a fatality to me, and that there's somebody transitioning here, and there's a whole bunch of upset happening. So if I was on the scene as part of the EMS or as part of the emergency, you know, 3D crew, I would be having a similar job. If I wasn't directly hands-on with the patient, I would be part of the team that was working with crowd control and trying to work with family to, you know, bring some compassion and some understanding, especially for a fatality, that, you know, we're doing everything we can, and we need to, you know, make some room here and allow people to do their jobs, and let's keep you safe, and, you know, I understand, and can you give me some information, you know, to do those things, not to deny what's happening, not to put it off, not to pretend that everything's okay, you know, don't be lying to people, it'll be just fine, not any of that stuff. And so it was quite an interesting experience, that though I wasn't, you know, thrilled about the idea, what can I offer this? Because if I was just driving along and saw someone get into an accident, I'd be jumping right out of my car to offer the assistance in 3D. So why the bleep would you drive by this with any less intentionality right now, Kate, other than you feeling annoyed, 919, that you didn't get up the mountain? Then get up this mountain, because it feels almost insurmountable, that you don't want to be bothered, you don't want to have to do this, you don't want to. And yet, if you have the reserves, if you have the ability, if you have that extra to give this situation, your prayers and your intentional understanding of this, your discernment in this car right here, right now, can help to clear out a lot of that crowd control stuff. Let's get a lot of that energy crowd control that density and the fear and the looky-loos and all that creepy stuff that happens when things like that go on our highways and byways. Let's get some of that energetic stuff put a bubble of protection around all of the people involved in this, and to really offer right mind, higher mind, and highest timeline available. And that allows the people who are open and receptive to that. In the middle of crisis is a real good time when people start really looking for their prayer support, whether they ever had it before or not. Fear will take people right to that point of being very vulnerable and open. And so if that's the case, and that you can feel that, then offer what you can, to that situation of please put some protection around that situation, all of the people involved, and allow them the opportunity that if they wish to receive this healing energy into them most directly, that they please receive that now. And wherever there's transitioning happening, because I felt multiple states of transition, there was actually, a transitioning body, out of body, into the non-corporeal realm, but I felt a lot of transitioning happening. And what was coming to me is that there's a lot of people whose lives are being shifted right at this very moment. Their lives have changed forever and ever. Amen. They will never be the same again. And so as they're transitioning from their prior state of being into their new state of being, they can use just that protection 1111 to help them to scoot and move that way, well, with more clarity and more understanding energetically. None of this would look the same, as what I'm describing to you on the ground. It wouldn't look that way out here in 3D. However, it's very important not to get caught up in what it looks like out here in 3D. It's very easy to get fooled and bamboozled by all of the drama and the trauma of what's happening in 3D, and yet we still would serve better most of the time to get inside and get busy with the energy of it, the energetic alignments and the assignments there, 1144, especially if that's what we know we have to do. If I was in the capacity as an EMS provider, if I was still a paramedic, of course I'd be working both those angles and probably really, honing in on my medical skills very closely right at that moment, bringing that presence of universal intelligence and God, etc. with me. However, the fact that I wasn't in that capacity, well, what can you do? You want to help people? Then help someone besides helping yourself. Don't just help you. Because I was feeling butthurt. My ego was bruised with I couldn't get up that mountain and I'm pissed. And I thought I heard you say, all this other stuff. And so turning around and having to drive back, and feel somewhat defeated, like this isn't about you anymore, Kate. There's somebody beyond you that right now, please don't make it about you. And I'm not talking about my guides or my team or my own self asking me to step beyond what I was capable of doing. It wasn't that. It was a matter of pull this out of something that's, real rooted in 3D anyway. You have something that's a true emergency here in 3D, and let's see if we can move all of this up into a more 5D experience and understanding so that it can bring healing and wholeness, wellness, some sense of compassion or kindness, whatever is necessary. Bring the highest timeline in for the people that need it the most. And the minute that we start to do that and take those steps of intention to bring that kind of clarity and that kind of divinity in, we pull our own self up, because we have to get there ourselves first to even ask for that kind of assistance or to answer the call when we're being asked to find that kind of clarity and that kind of willingness to work with divinity. People are suffering on this planet everywhere, and no matter what the circumstances were involved, with that fatality, it doesn't matter to me. There's still pain and suffering. And I'm not about watching people suffer, even if I know they deserve it. I really don't get into that because I don't know what all their story is. And I'm just not into people suffering. It doesn't matter to me. I know that people do suffer because we all suffer. We choose our behaviors, we choose our actions, and we choose what we choose. And sometimes we lose and we suffer badly for it. However, I don't believe I know anybody that wants to have that stuff grinded in their face or their nose ground into the doo-doo to say that kind of a thing. And so the best thing that I can offer is compassion anywhere that I can, that helps to alleviate this burden that is on us at this moment. And when we have the 8-8 portal that was pressing us in, that was just yesterday, and these energies 1414 are going to continue to move and ask us to call ourselves to higher places, to answer the call of divinity in all kinds of ways that we didn't even know we were capable of. And as we continue to move, and it's just pushing and pushing and pushing, it's asking us to not go over our own sovereign energetic boundaries of me, I'm just too tired, I'm too anything. I wasn't. If I was that tired or that unable or that something, then I could have bailed out in 1444. I would have been able to bail out because, believe me, I asked, are you serious? I'm supposed to, whatever. And when I realized, I caught myself in mid, conversation with, are you kidding? Blah, blah. That's usually the cue words of, are you kidding? You expect me to? And yeah, we do. That's why we're asking you, because you can bring something to this besides just a temper tantrum and a butt sore about being slowed down on both the legs of your journey. Do you suppose that is, excuse me, do you suppose that that's an accident? There's 3 accidents, 2 on the road and 1 that you just happen to be caught up randomly in it? Seriously? Can you bring something better to this? Because there's a lot of people right now that aren't going to bring much of anything except spectatorship and a whole bunch of drama. And then there's other people that are right slam in the midst of the worst day of their whole entire lives, as people are transitioning all over the place to new understandings of their own selves and the way their life is going to go forward from this very second on, based on that situation alone. Never mind what's happening on the other road over there. So what can you do besides offer more of the, that's what helps to break all of these karmic cycles. It's what helps to break that karmic band everywhere that it is, to bring in some laser understanding. Now, I have no idea what the outcome, of course, out here in 3D would be. I can't go back and verify anything. However, I know what was being asked of me is to bring in a higher mind, because that's never going to be wrong. Not ever is it going to be wrong to pull your own damn self out of your own temper tantrum, whatever that is. It's never wrong. Sit there long enough to identify that, yeah, this smells like temper tantrum. Cool. Are we done with that? Yeah, let's get done, because there's other work that can be done that's just, it's more directed, it's more important, and it's more vital to get done. So let's do that, And then if you're still butt sore about something, we can talk about that when we get home, but learn how to triage and prioritize. EMS follows me for the rest of my soundbite. Honda's getting a slurp of water, slurp and burp, if you can hear him. So EMS and triaging has followed me many, many years since I left EMS. But, prioritize. What are you putting in priority order? And your own butt sore about something cannot be more important than offering higher mind to yourself and everybody else by offering some kindness to humanity that's, in a great deal of hurt right at the moment, as demonstrated by right here. So anyway, soundbite, that's so hilarious. Suddenly way hella thirsty. So anyway, I hope that you're enjoying your day no matter what part of the day you're in, and I hope that you enjoy getting within your skin, because you're divine. It's absolutely fine, and it can help you to triage what's most important to you, and to offer kindness and compassion to others around you, and offer even more to yourself. Because I will tell you that even though I was having a temper tantrum, I still did need to talk to myself after we cleared that area, and I felt better about it. But whatever that part of me that felt so upset that I couldn't get up the mountain, and all this, that part still needed to be dealt with. However, that was not the true emergency right at that moment. The true emergency was, we're going to help break that cycle by noticing that there are other priorities that can really be better using your energy at this moment. Let's divert our attention over there where it's going to be used better, and then we'll come back to that part that wasn't in, a very traumatic spot. They were in a butt sore spot. That's different. I was not a 911 from in here. That was a 911 literally going on out there. So let's say, hey, let's put this aside for a few minutes and go do something for someone else. Let's consciously make moves to do something for someone else, for humanity, and for the better of the good, and we'll talk about this. And I did come back and address that with myself, and the disappointment I felt and all that other stuff, and that was its whole process. That's not important at the moment, other than to say that it isn't that we just go do something of service to someone else and we don't ever come back and clean up the mess within us. No, that's not how it works for me. So I did come back and, have that conversation with myself about the disappointment, and that opened up a whole different can of worms. So, it had to be dealt with. However, it did help break that cycle, that I'm coming from a higher mind, that I can serve this situation better, and then be able even more to go back to what I needed to do to talk to that part of me that wasn't going to really have a great conversation with itself. It needed something that was coming from that higher mind. So, as I said, get within your skin and enjoy your day. and enjoy being within your skin because you're divine. It is absolutely fine. It's totally beautiful, totally lovely, so courageous and gorgeous, and take care of you. It can take care of you and does take care of you every single time. Take care, and I will talk to you again next time. Goodbye, friends.